So today, we're going to talk about mental toughness. But here's the thing. We're throwing out the motivational posters, we're ignoring the life hacks, we're going straight to the source, your brain. We're going to dig into the actual neuroscience that explains what real grit is. Because it turns out, most of what you've been told about mental toughness is just scientifically wrong.
So let's just get this out of the way right up front. A lot of the popular ideas about willpower and discipline, the stuff that's all over self-help books and seminars, is just not backed up by the science. In fact, some of it is just plain wrong, and it might even be holding you back.
And this leads to the big question, right? Are some people just born tougher? Or is mental strength something that anyone can actually build? Well, the science gives us a really clear answer, and it all starts by tearing down the myths we've been fed for years.
Okay, myth number one. And this is a big one. It's the idea that you have to feel motivated before you can actually do something. The truth? Waiting for that magical bolt of inspiration is probably the number one reason why most people stay stuck. So, look at this. On one side, you have the myth. Just wait around for passion to hit you. But the reality, on the other side, is that real progress only comes from one thing: action. Even when, and this is the important part, even when you feel absolutely nothing. Motivation isn't what starts the engine. Action is the thing that creates motivation. And nobody says it better than David Goggins. When you are truly at the bottom, when things are really hard, there's no magical feeling of motivation coming to save you. It doesn't exist. The only path forward is to just start doing. You act in spite of how you feel.
So here's what it all boils down to. Real, sustainable drive isn't built by chasing some reward, the carrot. It's forged by leaning into the friction, the difficulty, the struggle. Or as neuroscientist Andrew Huberman puts it, it's all about the stick.
Okay, so if it's not about finding motivation, then what is it about? This brings us right to myth number 2, the idea that willpower is genetic, that you're either born with it or you're not. Well, neuroscience has completely debunked that. Willpower is actually tied to a physical part of your brain that you can literally make bigger.
According to Andrew Huberman, there's a specific area in our brain that physically gets larger when we force ourselves to do things we don't feel like doing. Just let that sink in for a second. Your willpower isn't some fixed trait you're stuck with. You can train it. You can grow it, just like a muscle.
So here's the sciencey name for it: the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, or AMCC for short. And scientists are starting to see this little area as the biological seat of our willpower, our tenacity, our grit. And the key is, it grows when you voluntarily choose to do hard things.
And the proof is, well, it's pretty staggering when you look at it. Studies show the AMCC is bigger in elite athletes. It's often smaller in obese people, but it actually grows when they stick to a diet. And get this, in people who live for a very long time, this area tends to stay nice and plump. Some scientists even think it might be the physical source of our will to live.
All right, so if we know we need to do hard things to grow this willpower muscle, how do we do it? Let's take a super popular example: cold showers or ice baths. This brings us right to myth number 3, the idea that these discipline hacks are just little mental tricks. The science shows it is so much deeper than that.
I love this quote from Dr. Susanna Soberg because it gets right to the heart of the matter. The whole point of something like a cold plunge is not to learn to enjoy it. The point is that it's uncomfortable. That friction, that discomfort, that's the stimulus that forces your brain and your body to adapt and get stronger.
And hey, this isn't just about feeling tough or some abstract idea. We're talking about real, physical, measurable changes in your body. Deliberate cold exposure can actually crank up your metabolism by activating something called brown fat. It can improve how your body handles blood sugar, and it can even lower your resting blood pressure over time. This is hard science.
Now let's take these ideas to the absolute extreme. And in doing that, we're going to bust myth number 4, the whole idea that you have to hit rock bottom before you can change your life. The Goggins method shows it's not about some big dramatic event. It's about a daily, deliberate choice to seek out friction. The starting point for all of this is just radical acceptance. The journey to getting stronger, it's not pretty. It's not inspiring. A lot of the time, it's ugly and painful and deeply, deeply unmotivating. And you just have to accept that reality before you can even take the first step. And then, step 2 is to completely abandon the search for an easy way out, for a shortcut, because there isn't one. This whole thing is an internal battle. The only opponent that really matters in this fight is you.
And this is such a key insight. Mental toughness isn't some finish line you cross and then you have it forever. It is a perishable skill. It's like a muscle. If you stop working it out, if you don't practice it every single day, it gets weaker. It requires constant maintenance.
So all of this, the neuroscience of the AMCC, the cold plunges, rejecting motivation, it all leads to one single place, the final battleground. And that is the conversation that you have inside your own head. And this is where we're going to bust our final myth.
Now this is a really fascinating shift in thinking. The myth is that you need to find a way to silence that little voice in your head, the one that's always telling you to quit, to take it easy. But the goal isn't to make it shut up. The goal is to confront it, to argue with it, and to win that argument every single time.
Goggins uses this incredible metaphor, cleaning out the dark cabinets of your mind, going down into the dungeon. It means you have to be willing to go to the places that scare you, your insecurities, your fears, your failures, and face them head on. That, right there, is where true unbreakable strength is forged.
So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's that building real science-backed mental toughness has nothing to do with finding some spark of inspiration outside yourself. It's all about having the courage to face the discomfort that's already inside. So the question isn't whether you feel motivated today. The real question is, which cabinet are you going to open first?
Here's your challenge. Pick one cabinet, one fear, one excuse, one thing you've been avoiding. Open it this weekend, not Monday, not when you feel ready, this weekend. Drop it in the comments. I'll reply to every single one with the neuroscience behind why that specific challenge will grow your AMCC. And if you want to understand the complete biological system behind this, the brain protein that acts like fertilizer for your willpower circuit, why some people's AMCC grows faster than others, I'm dropping that deep dive Tuesday at 2 p.m. Link in the description. Subscribe to the Grit Lab Official. We decode neuroscience into action. No pseudoscience, no empty motivation, just evidence that works. Now go open that cabinet.